In this video we're going to show you how the Datasets tab works. So this is a dataset where all of the information from your subscribers is kept. So we're going to show you how you can manage, import and also create and modify dataset entries in there as well. So you've got the Dataset tab on the left, which covers the majority of information that you need within that dataset option. But if you don't see the Dataset tab, then just click on Lists and Contacts and go to Manage. Within the settings of the Manage area, you can then enable multiple datasets, and then that Dataset tab will display. Okay, so here we can see just under the heading of Lists and Contacts, we've got the Settings menu, and on the right hand side we can see Enable Extra Datasets. So just take that option and save it, and once saved it'll then give you the option for the Dataset tab on the left hand side as we're seeing now. So if I go back over to Edit Data for the dataset, we can see how the data is stored within the account. So in here we're just using a default dataset which is called Contacts, so each account has that default dataset. It has all of the fields that we believe that you will need within it, but you can modify those fields, which I'm going to show you very shortly. If you want to search for any details within the account in that dataset, then just put in their email address in there and search, and then you can see any information relating to that subscriber. So you can also add a single entry. So if you want to add one person, so we've got their details into that dataset, then you can do that. Just simply select the mailing list you want them added into. If you don't want them added into a mobile list, that's fine. Just put in their information. So example at domain.co.uk. You obviously put in the first name, last name and so on, down to the bottom, and then just add that person in, and then they'll be automatically added into that dataset as well as being into that mailing list. Now if you want to import data into a dataset, it works very similar to the list and contacts import. You select the mailing list you want to import into, is all the information, the email addresses will have to go and be linked with a mailing list, and then obviously all of the extra data will be added into the dataset that you select. So again, likely what you've seen before, you can open up the import settings. You can just load for the device that you want to import into the dataset, select the mailing list and obviously the contact dataset that you want, and then you simply just import from there. You've also got the option to export the data. So in here you can export any of the information relating to the dataset that you've got. So as we can see, you've got the option to export records from a mailing list, or just export records exactly from that contacts dataset or whatever dataset you've got. So it doesn't have to always relate to one particular mailing list. When you create the export file, it'll send you an email, and in that email there'll be a link to that file that you want. You've got the manage subscription segments in here, so you can manage a segment. You can also use a triggered update as well in there, but you don't necessarily need to do it in this area. Obviously, as I said earlier, you can do it within the lists and contacts manage in a previous video that we created. Now, although you can modify a dataset, you can also create one. So if you've got any specific fields that you need within your dataset, then you can do that. So we'll just name the dataset, so maybe new subscribers, and we can put in whatever we want within here. So if we want to put in that telephone number, we can put that in. Obviously it might be work telephone number. So again, you can just choose what you want in there. Date of birth, if you want to select that option within here, you can put it as date, and then choose whatever you want within that section just there. So once it's date, it'll change the date. You can also change how many characters, so you can set specific characters that they can put in. And you can also put a default value. So in your email, if you're going to use personalization and not everybody gives the first name, then what you might want to do is just put in there, so then when the email comes through it is hi and then there for their default value, rather than saying hi subscriber or something like that. At least it's a bit more informal, but also you can get away with having it there. So that's one of the options. The other option, as I said, was to modify an existing data set. So if we go over to that section, we can see the contacts dataset that we have, and also when we go down we can see all of the default values, but you might want to have one, so it might be employee ID or something like that, and you want to make sure that it's there. Just simply add it in and save. Now you can use the datasets for the subscription form, so if you're putting different forms on a web page, or even just having the subscription form linked to your account, what you can do is you can go over to define data options. So if we do that, we can define the options that we want to make available for any specific questions. So for example, you might want to have a survey or something like that linked in with the dataset, so it can be put on a subscription form where you can collect the information. So an example one that we've created is the option to how would you prefer to be contacted. Would it be email, post or telephone number? Again, you can just edit the ones that you want, so any that you've created within the account, so you can edit the posts and the options. You can also create new ones as well, so if we don't want to drop down menu and you want different radio buttons or something similar to that, just click to create the one that you want, give it a name, so it might be rating or something like that. You've got the checkbox or radio button, so if we do radio button, and we might want to just leave it to free, and within this section here we can just put how they rated the support given or something like that, so it might be excellent, okay and bad. Once you've saved that, you've then got that option to use at a later date within your dataset. So if we go over to modify the datasets again, we can then select one of the empty fields that we're not using, put in the rating. So down at the bottom here, how would you like to be contacted in the future? And this one we can put it as a drop down menu, and we can select the modified, so the defined data value that we did before, so how would you prefer to be contacted, and also how would you rate our system. This one we can put it as a radio button because we've already created that, and we can just choose rating within there. Once that's done, just click save, and then those options will be added to the subscription form that you've got on your website if it's linked with that data set, or it can also just be an option when people actually manually subscribe as well. Of course, you have got the option to copy data sets, so you can actually copy just the data set or the data set with the data in itself as well, so it can be the additional content that you've got. And of course you can delete the data set as well, so again you get the option to delete the data set or just only delete the data and not the data itself. So those are the options within the data set. Hopefully they give you an idea of how you can actually use it to your advantage, so it makes it easier if you do create a new data set and you're importing a lot of information. It will be easier for you to use that new data set with the exact fields that you require. And again, you can define data options, so if you do put subscription forms on a web page or just use it from attached to your account, you can get more information from those that are subscribing as well. So thanks for your time, and feel free to watch any of the other videos that we have.